Welcome back to the county seat. We're talking about rural roads and how to maintain county and state ownership of them and the process of collecting data and information on it. Mark, when we left for commercial break, you talked about the importance of witnesses. Cynthia, you are responsible for collecting all this data for Sevier County.
That's correct.
How can people, rather than, if they're in Sevier County, come up to the state, can they contact your office with this kind of information if they remember using the roads and things of that nature?
They certainly can. I'm located at the road department, and they can call me at any time, but even if they went to the main administrative office, they'll direct them to me. And
what kind of evidence are you looking for from people? What do they need to be prepared to tell you? Because some people say, well, I remember using that road. My father used to take me hunting up there, or we used to go pull cattle off, and we used to drive up that road. But they're going, but I don't know anything particularly technical, and so they say, what value would my testimony be? What difference can that kind of information make for you?
well, that's firsthand knowledge of the existence of the road and the usage of the road. The technical aspects of it, I think, could probably be taken over by or be proved with GIS, the use of GIS. And establishing the existence of that road. It can be done with historical maps, can be done with old surveys, can be done in different ways. But their firsthand experience on that road is what we're looking to find out, what we're looking to establish.
I think a lot of people will look at this and they will say, well, they're old maps. I mean, they're USGS maps, they're old county maps that go back, 100 years ago. If the road was there, why would anybody contest it? It's a fair question.
It is a fair question. And we've seen in roads that have been litigated that judges want to see use of the road. It's not just enough that it shows up on a map. We need to be able to say it was on a map and it was used for these purposes, and bring people in who use those roads and say, yes, I was up there hunting. I remember being there with my father. In 1961, we'd went up every year. We would go up in our pickup truck and or we herded sheep, or we went sightseeing. That sort of information, as Cynthia said, is just crucial. We really want people who have that to contact us.
How much is at risk, Mark? I mean, if this information doesn't get collected, and the day comes down the road somewhere where you're litigating, scenario maybe where you're litigating statewide, what's at risk?
The best way to explain that, Chad, is to liken it to a house you live in. The vast majority of these roads are open, they're travelable by the public, there's no controversy. But just like you may live in your house and think it's yours, we need to settle the question of title. Who has legal ownership to these roads? If I'm living in a house, I want to know it's mine. I want to know I have title. And it's important for the counties to know where their title begins and where their title ends, so they can settle future questions like road expansion, repairs. A future administration, presidential administration, may be hostile and try to close some of those roads. So title is very important, just like it is in everyday life with other things we own and use.
Okay, so the next question would be, maybe Cynthia, you're at a county level, so who cares if a few roads get closed? What kind of impacts does that have?
Well, ask any of the residents in our county and you'll find out just how adamant they are about keeping these roads. They feel it's theirs. They feel they should be able to travel, they should be able to enjoy, they should be able to have that experience and be able to maintain the right to do that.
What about the commerce? Is there a commerce and safety aspect to a county transportation system that is not being considered?
Absolutely. Sevier County is very well known for the ATV business. And that is one area in which it would be deeply affected if some of these roads were closed. So we make every effort we can, we're going to make every effort we can to keep everything open that we possibly can, if not all of it, so that we can continue to enjoy that commerce, as you called it, and the recreation that the people in that area and people to come visit us enjoy throughout the years and year after year.
Does the state fully recognize the importance of these? I mean, it seems to me that your office is now more in this game than perhaps they were in the past few years. Is this a big priority to the governor?
It's a very big priority for the governor. Our office has had we've attempted different options to try to work with the federal government to establish title, and it finally comes down to litigation. And as we, have talked with the counties, it's really important that, like I said earlier, we get this done now. And the governor has, and other legislators have really, been able to step up and push this. And so our office is really, it's a big part of what we do.
Mark, if we fail to collect the evidence on a percentage scale, as a litigator, as somebody that's been involved in this, at least in the strategic side of it, how much weaker does it make your defense of a road if you cannot generate firsthand testimony?
Well, firsthand testimony is, I can't overstate the importance of it, Chad. There are other ways to prove a road. Sometimes we do this on old Forest Service roads where all the witnesses are gone. There are ways to piece together documentary evidence, but a live body in front of a judge, looking the judge in the eye and saying, yeah, me and my friends, we use that road. That's invaluable. I can't put a quantity description on it, but I just tell you it's of the highest importance.
There are probably some people out there right now, though, that are in their 80s or 90s going, yes, I remember the roads and I can tell you that story, but what value is it to me to talk if they need me to come testify in 5 or 10 years? I probably won't be here. And so what's your answer to that?
Well, John can talk about this a little further, but part of what the governor's office is doing, which the counties very much appreciate, is they are undertaking an effort to preserve testimony for folks who may not be around. There's a procedure allowed in the courts where you can take the deposition of a witness, preserve that witness's testimony, and if that witness passes away, you can still use that testimony in court. Sometimes it's done through a normal deposition where you have a transcript, or sometimes it's done through a videotaping of that person. You can play the videotape back for the judge. So people out there who are wondering, what their value is, it's the greatest civic duty you can do for your county is to come forward with that information. Contact your county. Don't worry about all those issues. Let them sort that out. There is a way to preserve your testimony if needed.
Well, that's really valuable information. Is there any other kind of evidence you need to collect?
Well, we're really interested also with live witnesses, people who kept journals. Some people wrote, we went up to this place, we took, went here or there. Journals of people who, when they traveled, photographs, people out picnicking, sightseeing, wherever, showing, here they are on the road. They got to this place by this road. So any evidence like that people have that would be really helpful, and they should contact the counties and say, I've got this evidence, and then the state and the county will work with them to go through that.
Okay, Cynthia, one quick question. I don't know if you can answer it, but it comes to my mind. On the ground today in Sevier County, you've got X number of miles of roads. As a percentage, how many of those are already secured under RS 2477 or established rights of way?
I think that's a question for the lawyers.
All right, that's
a question for the lawyers. We're making every effort. We've made every effort in our department, and by the way, they were talking about witnesses. We're looking at least 80 witnesses in our county alone, and I think that's just the beginning. And so we're working very, very hard to preserve all of this information. As far as the number of roads, I couldn't tell you exactly what the percentage might be, but it's a large percentage, and we're working on it day to day.
A large percentage that need to be protected or are protected?
There's a large percentage that we hope will be protected under with the efforts that we've exerted so far will be protected.
Okay, well, we'll come back for a wrap-up in just a minute here on the county seat. Our topic today has been roads, GIS, and how you prove that a road is a road. Sounds simple, but it's kind of complicated. We'll be back for our summary in just a minute.
What do you picture when you hear Rich County, Utah? Bear Lake Adventure? Snowmobile action? Pristine skiing? spectacular solitude. Well, if that isn't what first came to mind, then you just don't know Rich County. The Bear Lake Monster Polar Plunge, snowmobiling Monte Cristo, ice fishing Bear Lake, skiing the backcountry, fishing at the Cisco Disco. Come and find out what you never knew you were missing. Rich County, Utah.
Picture yourself in Logan, Utah. We do winter right.
Imagine a place where the world's largest concentration of scenic attractions can be found, where radiant cliffs of 2 national parks and 3 state parks tower to kiss the azure sky. Come and visit any one of the many memorable sites and events that Bryce Canyon Country, Garfield County, Utah has to offer. Drive along National Scenic Byway 143 and All-American Road Highway 12 and experience the ultimate adventure.